Well, morning. I think basically the Prime Minister has to back something that would allow her to take a majority of votes to the European Union, say, look, here in black and white is what I can get through the House of Commons. Help me try and make this happen. I agree that the EU have now been rounded to the position that nothing is going to change when it comes to the backstop and the withdrawal agreement and reopening it. But someone's going to have to budge here. And if the Brady Amendment can be selected by the Speaker, which will happen a bit later today, it can be backed by a majority of MPs, which still looks vanishingly unlikely, then at least it gives Theresa May a bit of a strengthened hand to say to the EU, I can get this through Parliament, now let's try and work on something that can make that happen. And whilst you're right in that Sabine Wayland and Simon Coveney and pretty much everybody else has been saying for a couple of days now that there's no way that the withdrawal agreement can be reopened, cracks have been appearing in the EU's position across the 27 for the last week or so, which might give some hope that something can be done in order to persuade MPs here that the backstop can be changed. Otherwise, we're heading to no deal.
And what about Theresa May's leadership in general, Tom? Where do you think that that's headed to?
Well, it's all. I mean, to say it's very difficult is an understatement here. The position of the Eurosceptics in the party to this morning, bearing in mind everything changes in the next, within an hour, is that they aren't going to back this Brady Amendment. So they aren't even going to countenance the chance of giving the Prime Minister a bit of a strengthened hand to go back to the European Union. I find that position remarkable. The European Union, the European Research Group, has been calling for the backstop to go and to be significantly changed for some time, and yet will not back an amendment that could seek to make that happen. Ultimately, this could all be for nothing anyway, and regardless of the other amendments that are being tabled today, the sort of the Cooper Amendment, as it's called, which would seek to delay the departure on the 29th of March 2019 and push the Article 50 process into the longer grass, that might not have a majority either. So we could be sitting here tomorrow morning with no amendment commanding a majority and nothing really having changed whatsoever.
Absolutely. And you said that somebody has to budge, and we're hearing from Michel Barnier that he won't budge on the withdrawal agreement, but he might on the political declaration. But I guess that won't be enough to convince anyone.
Yeah, I think that's right. I'm not sure that will be enough to convince the Brexiteers within the Conservative Party. My worry is that if there are only two routes to getting a deal through Parliament, one being tearing up the backstop, which, as you say, looks very unlikely, and you will speak to European sources more than I do, but you're right, the consistent message is that's not going to happen, then the other route is to get a customs union, because that's what Labour MPs would support. And if Theresa May starts heading down talking about a customs union, she rips the Conservative Party apart. So I don't understand why the European Research Group wouldn't try and back an amendment that give the Prime Minister something to say to the European Union, look, you're going to have to reopen the withdrawal agreement a bit, or do something legally binding outside of the withdrawal agreement that could help me get this through Parliament, because at the moment we're just heading into more stalemate.